Welcome to the network, the educational podcast designed to help our community navigate the four areas of life that I like to call the funky four corners. I've had the opportunity to interview some of my favorite people with one goal in mind: to help the spiritual, physical, mental, and financial health of our people as we navigate this thing called life. Subscribe to the network. You never know, you might need it. I always lose myself when I'm doing this in the beginning. It's like I haven't done this before. Listen, everybody, in the words of the great American poet, Erykah Badu, in the network, we just keep things going on and on. Listen, this is the network, the educational podcast designed to help our community navigate physically, spiritually, mentally, and financially. I'm your host. My name is Michael Prejean. That is my government name. Today in the Funky Four Podcast Studios, we are in the Women's Health series, and we have a guest who is doing something in our community that is desperately needed, creating safe spaces where Black women can finally be honest about what they feel without being labeled, dismissed, or told they're doing too much. She is a licensed therapist and the founder of Oak and Anchor Resilience Center in Houston, Texas, where she supports teens and adults through trauma, life transitions, and the deeply personal work of self-identity. Her mission is simple, but it's powerful. Help people feel seen, heard, and safe to process their emotions without shame. I need you to put your real hands together and your virtual hands together. Let's turn this up real loud, and please welcome Labrea Law. All right, Labrea, welcome back to the co-op. This is not your first time here. You are not new to this. You are true to this. So here's what we're going to do. Before we dive into today's topic, who are you giving flowers while they can still smell them?
Who am I giving flowers? First off, thank you for having me back. It was such an honor for you to reach out and especially to have me here to speak about women's mental health. Who would I want to give flowers to? It might be a little astonishing because I'm going to choose my daughter. She's 5 years old. Her name is Joy. And though she's not a woman yet, I mean, the amount of sacrifice that she shows daily is crazy. So her brother is autistic and nonverbal. He's level 3. He requires a lot of my attention. And the way that she is so self-sacrificial, so helpful towards him, the fact that she puts her needs second, even though she's just a child and younger than him, it just blows my mind. And if one day I have to replay this back for her, I hope that she knows that I see her, even though she's a child, she's learning to navigate the world and navigate her brother. That's such murky waters to tread. And so I just want to give my flowers to my 5-year-old.
That is outstanding. I don't think people realize what kids, right, are capable of, right? So you mentioned your son who is nonverbal, right, on the
Mhm.
spectrum, um,
Mhm.
and your daughter is just great in that
Yeah.
entire situation. That's how we know your baby is going to be a great adult.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I mean,
Ah,
she
well, we start the podcast with that question. I'm getting teary-eyed. I love what I
but
do. I
listen,
love the fact that I could see through her. Yeah.
we don't wait to give
Mm,
people flowers,
yeah.
right? So that
Mm,
is super important here in the network. Like, we got to give people their flowers, right? So your baby is growing in a way that most children don't have to grow, right?
mhm,
So she's got that quiet strength, right?
mhm.
um is that something that you see in some of the women that you work with, that quiet strength?
Yes, yes, I do. And it's crazy because the women that I work with, it's like I can see the quiet strength, but bringing it out of them, It's a whole different thing. And the fact that I could see it in them, I get to call it out of them too and bring it to the forefront. And so, yes, I do definitely see that resilience in the women that I work with every day. I think that being a Black woman, I call it the Black woman superhero syndrome, that we feel like we have to save the day. I notice a lot of my clients have that. But when I point it out, they are surprised because to them, that's just everyday life, us being strong, us being resilient, us getting things done. So actually calling it out in them and seeing it, it helps them to be able to identify that as a strength.
That's good. That's good. I want everybody who's watching and listening this, no matter if you're watching live or if you're watching this a year from now, you said something very specific. You said I have to call it out,
Mhm.
right? So it's in there. It's in
Mhm.
there. There's some things that we just have to call out sometime. Let me ask this: what song is on repeat in your car lately? What you listen?
You sure you wanna know the real truth or the good truth?
We want the real. Listen, it's so important. So yesterday, somebody asked me a question. Um, he said, "Mike, I didn't know that you were a minister."
Mhm.
Right. So what I told him was like, I don't just blast it out there because people act different
Yeah.
around you. Like they're not their true selves, you know? So
Mhm.
I my thing is like, man, let's always keep it real. Let's be who we really are because there's nothing better than being genuine,
Yeah.
right? So
Mhm.
what you're listening to, that's what we want to know. What you
Okay,
listen.
Imma tell you, but Imma relate to you. I don't know if you remember, but I did go to seminary, and so my degree says Master of Arts in Biblical Counseling, and that the same way that people may not know you're a minister, people don't know I'm a biblical counselor because when you advertise that way, sometimes it makes people shrivel down or shrink down, especially I see women who have all types of different beliefs, and so if they know that I'm a Christian counselor, sometimes I feel like it's a strength, but also it's like bittersweet. Like, okay, yeah, she's a Christian counselor if I'm seeking that, but if I'm struggling with my faith, I might not want that. But anyway, what I'm listening to, see, that's why I don't want to say it. I got Glow and Meg on repeat. I love me some Glow and I love me some Meg.
Okay, so but here's what we have to let's unravel that, right? Let's
Yeah.
dig into that. Um, so I think that's okay
Mm,
because what we're talking about are two women, number one, with work ethic, right? Two women who are not afraid to be their genuine selves,
mhm.
right? Two women who, for lack of better way of putting it, have conquered public opinion,
Yeah.
right? They live a very public life and are not afraid to say, hey, this is who I am, right? And here's the thing we know, and I think you know this through your work. We are all a work in progress, right? For
Yeah.
church folks who are listening, we are all on the potter's wheel,
Mm,
right? So
right.
listen, Labrea, I grew up on rap music.
Mm,
I love rap music, right? And what we have to understand is these artists are telling stories that a lot of people can relate to. If people really read their Bible, they will go and I'm gonna say this: go and read who Jesus used to hang out with.
mm,
That's all I'm gonna say.
right.
He wasn't, he it was some Megs and Glows, and it was some Megs and Glows and Boosies.
Mm,
That's all I'm gonna say. Now, don't forget that we're all on the potter's wheel.
mm,
We're all on the potter's wheel. So listen, I love it because there is something. So in the series, um, I have a guest that comes on and she's a DJ, right? And she talks about music and what music does for us,
mhm.
right? What rhythm does for us and our bodies. So listen, there's absolutely, I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm with you, because listen, it's not in my regular playlist, but man, I love the way Get Them Glow. Like that's like you need some inspiration.
Yeah.
Let's get them, right?
Yeah.
Loving to hear the confidence that Meg the Stallion has, when she writes her music and all of those things. And of course, it's got a little bit of little ratchet and raunchy, right? But again, we're all on that same potter's wheel. So
Mhm.
you founded Oak and Resilience Center.
Yes.
You work with teens, you work with adults
Yes.
around trauma, life transitions, self identity. Walk us through a typical week, right? What does a typical week look like in your world? What are people bringing to you that people on the outside may never see?
Yeah, okay. So in my practice, I see mainly teens and young adults. In my practice, one of the things that I specialize in is working with those who battle with self-harm and suicidal ideations. And so I do a lot of harm reduction, coping skills, and helping others try to find their purpose and will to live. So if I see about 30 clients a week, maybe 25 to 30, maybe about 10 or 11 of them are battling with suicidal ideations, and actively self-harming. And so that's really difficult to walk through knowing that people don't want to live, and honestly, sometimes it's not even that people don't wanna live. It's really that they want the heaviness to stop. They want the chaos to stop. They wanna feel peace. They want alleviation from the stress that they're having within their lives. So it's not always that people wanna die. They just wanna find some relief. And so that's a lot of what I walk through in my day-to-day with my clients.
So why tell me about the name of your business, Oak and Anchor. How did you
Yeah.
come to the name Oak and Anchor?
I'm glad that you asked. So, are you familiar with the Dallas area?
Um, a little bit.
Okay,
You
all
like to
right.
talk about Oak Cliff?
Yeah, I'm from Oak Cliff.
Let's go.
I graduated from South Oak Cliff,
That's
and
SOC in the building. There it
yes,
is.
and so and I'm a first generation college student as well. And when I graduated top 10%, and not a lot of the kids in my school went to college, and if they did, they didn't finish. And so to me, Oak Cliff is like a symbolization of my strength. And then when I think of the oak tree, that's one of the most long-standing trees as well, and it's very strong. And so that's where the oak came from in Oak and Anchor. And we know that an anchor keeps us still and keeps us grounded. And so that's how I kind of put the name together. And so the symbol for my practice is like a tree, a oak tree, and an anchor. So it's like just it's outsourcing and it's showing the strength that the tree has to withstand to go through things. And so that's how I came up with the name.
Man, listen, shout out to South Oak Cliff, historical community in Dallas.
Yeah.
All right, still a lot of great things going on there in the Oak Cliff community in greater Dallas, Texas. All right, so you said something that really stuck with me, right? That you want to create a space where people can be honest, supported, and understood without shame. So now I got to go back to what you're listening to in the car, right? So we should be able to be honest, supported, and understood without shame. And that's the space that you're creating for people. So sounds simple, but I know it's not. So
Mhm.
what makes emotional honesty hard for people, especially women in our community?
Hmm. I think that emotional honesty is hard for women in our community. Kind of goes back to what I said earlier. It's like that Black woman superhero syndrome. Like, I'm just supposed to walk through the day to day of things with it being tough or hard, like parenting children, or still trying to hold down the household and work, or carrying the burden that comes with being in a relationship. Sometimes I'm just supposed to do it. So being vulnerable and saying, "Hey, I am at my peak, and it's hard." It's not easy because I'm just supposed to be able to do this thing. And so I think that's why it's hard for women to speak about their true emotions. I think I talked about this last time on the podcast, like postpartum depression. We're supposed to want to be a mom. We're supposed to be engaged and engulfed in motherhood. Think about being children, being a little girl. The toys that are marketed to us, baby dolls, strollers, every Disney princess has a man, like just things like that. So the fact that, oh, you asked about the type of clients that I'm seeing. If I'm seeing women that are in their 30s, or reaching their 40s and that peak of that, the fact that they're on this timeline of feeling like, well, I don't have a spouse, I don't have children, it's just really difficult to voice those things because you feel like you're supposed to live up to a specific standard. And so I think creating a space where we can be emotionally honest, especially within my practice, is really good because a lot of women don't have that outlet.
That's good. I came across something yesterday on IG. So I know there's lots of back and forth about social media, right?
Mhm.
You spend too much time doing mindless scrolling, it's no good for you. It's not always great for young people, but you can curate your timeline.
Mhm.
So I try to curate my timeline, and I came across um, a lady, she's an older woman, and she was reciting a poem about being a woman, right? And it was so, man, it was so deep. It was so deep because she was talking about as a woman learning or unlearning that who you are and your body is not it's not about transactions, right?
Mm.
It's not a transactional thing. It was so deep. And I was like, man, I wish that for men, speaking, from a male perspective, I wish more men had access to those types of conversations
Mm.
with the women in their lives. So it's so important, in my opinion, for women to be able to articulate that, right, without being ashamed of it, right, without
Mhm.
um being worried about being judged, and that the men would support them in saying that, because you want to talk about, now we can bloom relationships between men and women in our community. So very, very important work you're doing. Take us back to the beginning, right, when women's health stopped just being like a topic and it became very personal for you. You said there was a really dark time in your life when you
Mhm.
did not have that safe space to express
Yeah.
a feeling, that people
Yeah.
were saying that you were too sensitive. So what was happening in that season of life, and did it cost you anything before you figured out what it was actually telling you?
Yeah, yeah. So for me, I feel like I've always been one of those people in the world that feel things a little bit more deeply. I call it
Mm,
like being a bothered person in the world, which I think is really good now that I've grown. But what I was going through, honestly, I was a freshman or sophomore in college. I was probably like 19 and I was going through a heartbreak. And I know at that age, it could feel like, you know what, you don't really just know what love is. That's just puppy love or whatever. But my heart was really broken to the point that I was devastated. And I was actually in the church at the time. And it wasn't the church that was saying I was too sensitive. However, I did feel ridiculed for the fact that I was this heartbroken over someone that I was not in a committed relationship with. And so in the church, it's just like, well, move on. God wasn't honoring that relationship anyway. Because I'm gonna say it wasn't the holiest. But also in family, they were like, girl, you just being it was too quick. I was just together for this amount of time. Get over it. And in my opinion, it was very sensitive to me because this was someone who I had given my heart to, my time, and I was growing. I was learning what it looked like to be with someone. And so now in my practice, when I'm seeing women who come in, they're even my teens, they're 17 and they heartbroken over the little boy don't want to go to prom no more with them. I hold that space and let them know that that love that they feel, that's real. Like they say, I'm too young to feel. No, you're not too young. What you feel for that person, this is the foundational ages and stages of what it looks like to have a relationship. And so the fact that I went through that at a young age, now I'm able to help others and pour into them when they're feeling heartbroken or feeling like they're just being too sensitive, or they feel like they're too young to feel heartbroken or to be in love. So I hope that that answered your question. But for me, yes, heartbreak took me straight to mental health and trying to figure out how to deal as it comes about.
Listen, um, yeah, I think that's part of growing up,
Mhm.
right? That heartbreak. Listen, I remember the first time I got my heart broken. I was I was pitiful. I was pitiful. So Prince has this song, "Nothing Compares to You," right? I would be in my room listening to "Nothing Compares to You." The words were, "It's been 7 hours and 14 days since you took your love away." So, what they say, the heart wants what the heart wants.
The heart want what
So,
it want. Look.
you know, and when we're young, we don't really have the tools, right? We don't have
Mhm.
the necessary tools in our toolkit to deal with that, right? So here it is. Um, Sometimes we have adults who are telling us what they were told, right?
Mhm.
Telling us to deal with it the way they dealt with it. And that's not necessarily, we're not cookie cutters. I
Mhm.
mean, we're not cookie cut, right? God didn't build us out of the same mold, right? There are no two fingerprints that are the same out of all of humanity, right? Just
Mhm.
think about that. So just because this is how you dealt with it, that doesn't mean that I'm going to be successful dealing with it that way as well. So
Mhm.
yeah, so I think a lot of people are dealing with uh you know what we label today as mental health, because I can't imagine the number of heartbreaks. As a former teacher and coach, I saw a lot of heartbreaks.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of heartbreaks with young men and young women. um so adults, this is for adults, be a little more sensitive, when the kids that
Yes.
you're around are experiencing heartbreak. They Just because you got over it this way doesn't mean they'll necessarily get over it that way. All right, so
Right.
you called out something that a lot of women, you know, probably hear a lot. The too sensitive, too emotional. It's not just wrong, but you also said it can be harmful.
Mm.
Why can it be harmful? Why is that messaging dangerous? What do you want women to understand about their emotions instead?
Yeah, yeah. The fact that people say women can be too emotional or too sensitive, the reason that it's harmful is because it teaches them to suppress their emotions,
Mhm.
and to not talk about them, or to believe that being emotional is not favorable, like it's not okay. There is room for both. There is room for the emotional mind, and there is room for the logical mind. We need them both. And so I want women to know that it's important for them to dive deep into the emotions that they feel, because when you feel the fact that your emotions are strong lets you know that something like a boundary is being crossed within you. Let that be an indicator that something is
Oh,
going
wait,
wrong.
wait, wait. You got to say that again. I
Okay.
don't want you to speed past that, because that's a gem. Say that again
Mm.
about boundaries.
The fact when you feel emotionally strong about something, let that be an indicator that a boundary is being crossed within you. Dive deep in and see what's going on.
That's
Why
good.
am I feeling so strongly about this thing? Your emotions will tell you a lot about yourself. And so, especially for the woman that's too sensitive, too bothered, cares too much, that's the
Mhm.
woman that needs to be diving deep, doing the shadow work, means sitting with herself and
Yeah,
seeing what's going on here,
that's
what's
good.
being crossed. Yeah.
So we don't want women to suppress, right?
Mm-mm.
So what is one thing that we say to women that sounds like encouragement, may even sound inspirational, but it's actually teaching women to silence themselves and suppress?
One thing that sounds like encouragement, but it's really teaching them to suppress.
Hmm.
Be strong. You got this. It's gonna be all right.
Oh, oh. So over time, what does that do over time? So it's like, okay, you telling me I'm strong. I don't feel strong right now.
Right. Right. Over time. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, so like over time, what does that do? People keep telling me I'm strong, but I know I don't feel strong right now. What does that do to women over time?
It makes the woman feel as if she doesn't have a village and as if she doesn't have help or she can't reach for support. Like if people are telling her that she's strong and she got this, well, what's the point of me reaching out for support then? Because I'm supposed to have this. I'm supposed to be able to weather this. And so I think just personally, when people have told me to stay strong, especially like with raising my autistic son, like I know I'm strong. I know but I need the help. I'm gonna go ahead and hire this babysitter because
Yeah,
I need to step out for a minute. It's
yeah,
okay.
yeah. That it is okay.
Mhm.
It's okay. And then for you, I want to say this. It's okay to listen to Meg. Listen
Thank
to her,
you.
because you're listening to listen. Just first of all, nobody walks in your shoes, right?
Mhm.
Nobody walks in your shoes, but um the strength you just said, I know I'm strong, and I also have to do this. The world is not so black and white,
Mm-mm.
right? It can be this and it can be that. So um women, So you've been told you're strong, but you don't feel strong. You've been told you're doing too much. You're too emotional. You're too sensitive. So over time, that can be damaging. How do we undo the damage? What is the process? So for a woman who has been told, "Hey, you're too sensitive. You're too emotional. You're too this. You're too that. You're strong. Get over it. You'll be fine." There's damage that can be done long term. What is the point in which we stop that unraveling and we start rolling it back together?
Mhm. I think we can't control too much of the external. I want to focus more on that woman being able to identify what she needs. In order for her to be able to identify what she actually needs, she has to first identify what is it that she feels. So you're tired, you need help, but what is it that you're feeling? Hey, I've been feeling exhausted, or I feel tired. Make the request. I need this. Can you help with this? Can you support me with this? If they can't, we have to figure out how to outsource. But first is the woman being empowered enough to say, I feel this and it's okay. And then being able to think about what she really needs to alleviate some of that. Does that make sense?
It does. It does.
Mhm.
So it sounds like the first signs of that woman choosing herself. So I'm choosing,
Mhm.
right? You
Mhm.
feel strongly about this, which
Yeah.
means that some boundaries have been crossed.
Yes.
So I'm taking this power back. And
Right.
you just mentioned some questions that women need to ask. Can you go through those questions again? Because I really want to make sure that anybody who watches and hears this, women and men, right, know what questions to ask so that shift can gain some momentum.
Yeah, yeah. So the first thing, like we said, the woman is feeling like she's being told she's gonna be okay and she got this. Her being able to say, I don't, though. I'm not just gonna take that and be a lay person. I don't got it. I actually feel like this. She needs to be able to identify what she feels. I'm overwhelmed. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I'm beat down. I don't got this. The next step is her being able to identify what she needs. What do you need? What would help alleviate some of this? Do you need an extra hand? Do you need someone to come over and help with the kids? Do you need a moment to step out? Do you need someone to help come clean? Do you need a church member to bring a meal? What do you need? What would make this more easy for you? And being okay with saying that you need the help.
That's good. So we have to know what questions to ask,
Hmm.
right? And then on the other side of that, we have to be okay with
Hmm.
receiving help.
True. That's true.
So who made the song years ago? I'm not your superwoman. Um, Listen, Karen White, I think it was. This way, I'm
I don't
telling
know that song.
telling my age. I'm telling my 80s, late 80s, maybe early 90s. But she had a song, I'm not your superwoman. So that's important, right? To put that out there. Listen, I'm good.
Hmm.
I can do a lot of things, but I can't do everything.
Right.
I do need help. Thank you for asking. That's really, really good. So,
Hmm.
um, I want to ask you about the relationship between women's emotional health and the community around them. So now we've kind of alluded to it a little bit. So the families, the children, their partners. When a
Hmm.
woman is not emotionally well, what ripple does that send out?
You said when the support system and community is not well, what ripple does
Yeah.
it send out?
Well, or
It
like
ch
when the woman isn't well, how does that impact the people around her, her
uh,
family, her children, her
mhm.
partners, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely have to take care of what takes care of you, like the woman's mental health. When it's not okay, it's like a domino effect. It ripples into everything. If my cup is empty and I'm needing my well replenished and I have children, it's gonna pour into them. If I'm already overstimulated and on 1,000, then they can't even come to me because I have nothing to pour. So the minute that they ask something now, I'm overstimulated at them or my partner. Now I can't be intimate or I can't be present for you because I'm thinking about everything that's going on with me. Now the community, now I don't want to be around them, or it's hard for me to get myself together and go out and actually engage with them because I'm not feeling well. So when the woman, oh, and then she's not performing well at work, because how am I going to perform well at work when I'm not okay and I don't have the support that I need? But then if I do have the support, it's hard for me to even voice it because I feel like I'm just supposed to handle everything. So I think that it ripples into every single area when we're not tending to ourselves as we should be.
So before we go to the next thing, if you could break that down, like if
Mhm.
you could boil that down until it's into its simplest version of how women can express themselves and be supported, what does that look like for that woman and the people around her in its simplest form?
Hmm. Like if I could put it in a sentence, what would it look like for a woman to be supported in its simplest form?
Yeah.
I'm still going to go back with the woman having the tools to express what she needs and not feeling ashamed about it.
Okay.
So, her taking care of what takes care of her, her body and her mental health, and being able to say when she isn't okay without feeling shame about it. And I'm saying that that's the simplest form, in my opinion, because I'm gonna just tell you a quick personal story.
Okay.
Like, I don't mind being vulnerable. I am a single mom, and I have two small children. So recently, I hired a laundry service because I have my own business. I got these two kids. One is on the spectrum. It's just me. It's too much. I hired a laundry service and they came and picked up my clothes and washed them and brought them back. Now, when I posted it, do you know one of my friends said, "Girl, you gonna let somebody else do that? Like, you don't have no shame posting that?" Absolutely not, because I need the help. And so being able to do something like that without feeling shame of, you know what, this is what a woman and a mom is supposed to do. I'm supposed to do the laundry. But no, I'm not ashamed of what my capacity is. The volume of laundry exceeded my capacity to do it. And I think that's what we should stick by in life. When the volume is exceeding your capacity, get the support.
That is good. When the volume exceeds your capacity, seek some support. Listen, I'd have been like, yeah. As a matter of fact, if you need it, I can give you their information.
Yeah.
You know, that is so good. So real quick, just to kind of break it, uh, if there's any tension, if anybody's feeling any tension there, pancakes or waffles?
Why can't French toast be an option? But I guess pancakes.
Okay, okay, so pancakes or French toast?
French toast.
All right. So listen, before we go to the next segment, listen, I need everybody watching and listening, please take a minute to support the network, help our community grow mentally, physically, spiritually, and financially. If you are watching on YouTube, please hit like, subscribe, hit that bell, turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. If you are listening to the podcast, head on over to Apple Podcasts, drop us a 5-star review. It helps us reach more people who need these conversations. Make sure you follow us on IG. That is at the underscore network underscore podcast. Okay. Where we continue these conversations, build community, and share resources that strengthen us all. And please tell a friend to tell a friend. That's how we strengthen the network together. All right. So now we're going to get into the Funky Four Corners, which is the foundation of the network podcast. I'm going to take you through each corner. I want you to give me the best advice you've ever received, one clear sentence. Okay. So, best spiritual advice you've received. I absolutely love this. Go.
The best spiritual advice that I've ever received was that God always leaves the 99 to find the one.
Listen, you all in the wheelhouse. I was talking to somebody about this past weekend. So for the woman who feels that she is too far gone,
Mhm.
too broken, too ashamed to come back, what
Mhm.
would you say to her about the specific feeling of not being worth the search? She feels like nobody is looking for her. What do you say to that woman?
Mm. Gosh, I got teary-eyed thinking about that because that's literally my favorite Bible verse. But to the woman who feels like she's strayed, to the woman who feels like she's not worthy of even being searched for, you just simply don't get to make that choice. God's grace says that
Oh,
you are.
oh,
God's word says that you are, and He's coming for you, and He's still there for you. He's gonna leave the 99.
listen,
Mm,
he left the 99 to get the one. Maybe
mhm,
you're that one. Um,
mhm,
then there's also, I think my favorite part in that is the woman who is searching for this lost coin, right? So some of us are lost coins. We
mhm,
can't get up and go and run back to the Father like the prodigal did, right? Some of us are that sheep. We didn't wander it off, but that lost coin is just lost. And just know that you are being looked for. Labria, that's so good. That's good. That's good.
mhm.
That's good.
Yeah.
All right. Best physical advice you've received.
Yeah. The best physical advice would be take care of what takes care of you, meaning your body. And that's more than just, I know you said just a sentence, but that's more than just physical. I'm talking about sleep, diet, nutrition. Take care of what takes care of you.
That's good. That's good. You said discipline builds confidence. So
Mhm.
when a woman starts to build that physical discipline,
Mhm.
right? What does that do for her mentally, physically, emotionally?
Okay. So naturally when you have that physical discipline, you are boosting certain hormones in your body that boost happiness, like endorphins, serotonin, and things like dopamine. Like you're getting hits as you're exercising, you're eating right, you're choosing yourself. So you automatically start to feel better. And then, like you said, discipline builds confidence. The more that I'm consistent, the more that I begin to believe in myself, the more that I do the things that I say I'm going to do, I begin to trust myself. Overall, physically, I'm doing well because I trust myself to do the things that I said I'm gonna do.
So, but Labria, I'm in a mental valley. My
Mm,
emotional health is in a valley. How do I start building that discipline when mentally and emotionally I just can't pull myself up?
yeah, yeah, and I get that part too. So sometimes motivation comes with movement. It don't always look perfect. Even if all you have to give is 5 minutes for the day, even if it's just 2 minutes, moving towards what you actually want. If all I could do is a walk up and down the street today, that's all I got to give. Motivation comes with movement. Sometimes it's not going to be about how I feel. It's about me just moving towards that goal.
Listen, I need y'all to write that down. She just dropped another gem on you. Motivation comes with movement. Motivation comes with movement. I can't wait to go back and watch this. I can't wait to go back and watch it. All right. Best mental or emotional advice that you have received.
Okay. Best mental or emotional advice is just because it feels true doesn't mean that it is. Just because it feels that way doesn't mean that it is.
Oh, that's powerful.
Mhm.
So, but for women who have been dismissed their whole lives,
Mm,
challenging their own thoughts
it's
can
hard.
become another form of self-abandonment.
True.
So, how do you teach someone the difference between healthy thought challenging and then that self-silencing? Because
Yeah.
this is it's got to be true. This is what I know. This is what I've experienced my whole life. So, how do you teach that difference between it's healthy to
Right.
challenge these thoughts versus
Right.
silencing yourself?
I like the fact that you asked that. So, intuition and discernment is kind of like that gut thing that we get. It's like pattern recognition or something being off. Usually, we would want to listen to that, right? But then when you've been through trauma, both of those are loud and it's hard to distinguish. So when you can't decipher between your discernment or intuition and your trauma, the next thing that you do is observe. You know what? I'm going to silence both of these. It's too loud. I'm going to observe based on what I actually see because what I feel is too cloudy. So what do I see? That'll help with deciphering.
Ah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good stuff. Listen, you are in the network with Labria Law, the telecounselor. You got it up here on your screen. You can see it.
Yeah.
Listen, you need to connect with her if you are in need. If you are in need, definitely reach out to her. Okay, Labria, best financial advice you've ever received.
I'm speaking from the woman's perspective. As a woman, try to always have your own money. Try to always have your own finances, your own stash. Have your own. Have your own.
That's good. That's good.
Mhm.
Um, Financial independence is connected to safety, right?
Yes.
So as a therapist, I'm curious, how often does the absence of financial independence show up in the emotional work your clients have to do?
How often does, can you repeat that for me? I'm so
So
sorry.
what's the link between a woman's financial situation and her mental health?
Mm, it's it's directly correlated. I don't know if you've heard of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, but
Mm,
basically it just talks about how our financial and basic sense of security, like home food, water, shelter, needs to be met before we can pour into anything else. And as you go up the pyramid, it's talking about relationships, children, work, and things like that. If this is not met, I can't pour into anything else. So I see that pretty often. Like if the woman is struggling with sometimes being a stay-at-home mom or not having a job or trying to find a job in her career field, she is not overall well. But then I do find that once that changes, once the situation changes, the symptoms alleviate. Then she's better. So having your finances in order, having your own is very important.
that's good. That's an excellent perspective.
Mhm,
And definitely, as a former educator, definitely
mhm,
familiar with Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Right?
mhm,
Like, listen, kids can't learn if their basic needs aren't met.
mhm.
Right? I don't think
Right.
school values that anymore, though. All
Yeah.
right, Labria, are you a morning person or a night owl?
I guess I'm a morning person, but the type of morning person that wants to still lay in the bed.
I got you.
Like honestly, I don't start seeing clients until noon because I need that whole morning to just get up and get myself together.
Listen, it is important. So I woke up. This is what I did today. I woke
Mhm.
up. Actually, my wife, it was about, she said, babe, it's almost 6. You want to go to the gym? I said no. And I went back to sleep. She got up, got ready for work, walked out the door. I set up and I was like, okay, I'm going to get started. And I was like, no, I'm not. I'm going to lay back down. And I laid back down, went to sleep for a few more minutes, but I was able to actually kind of gather my thoughts, as I was laying there. And when I got up, it was like, boom, you know, hit the ground running. I'm ready. I've been able to process my day. I know the order in which I want to get things done. So I get it. Play a
Yeah.
game with me. You ready?
Okay.
All right, here we go. We're going to rapid fire. Okay. So these first handful of questions are going to be either or. Okay. Don't think about it too long. You ready?
Okay.
Group therapy or one-on-one session?
One on one.
Are we going to journal it out or talk it out?
Talk.
Telling someone a hard truth or letting them figure it out on their own?
A hard truth.
Meditation or walk outside?
Walk outside.
Instagram or TikTok?
Instagram.
Establishing a boundary or having the conversation first?
The conversation first.
Okay. Comfort zone or the edge of growth?
The edge of growth.
Okay. All right. Agree or disagree? You can love someone and still need to walk away from them.
Agree.
Forgiveness is more about the person forgiving than the person forgiven.
Agree.
Black women have been taught to be strong in ways that are actually hurting them.
I agree.
You can be in therapy for years and still not grow.
Agree.
Okay. The most dangerous relationship you can be in is one with yourself when you don't trust yourself.
Yes, that's true.
Okay.
Agree.
All right, let's do some word association. I'm gonna throw some words out here. All right. Resilience.
Wait, I
First
don't
word
think I.
that comes to mind.
Okay.
Sorry, my bad. I should have gave the instructions. So I'm gonna throw some words out. I'm gonna give you a word, and then you tell me the first word that comes to mind.
Mhm.
Okay. You ready?
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Resilience.
Strength.
boundaries,
No.
therapy,
Yes.
rest,
Bed.
mo-
Sorry, go again.
money,
A lot of it.
peace,
You said
peace,
peace?
peace.
Trees.
Okay. And here's the last one, too emotional.
Not possible.
Ah, good, good. All right. So it wasn't too bad, was it? Wasn't too
No.
bad.
No.
All right.
If it was me, not you.
Oh, you did great. You did great. All right. So this brings us to good medicine. Okay. Um, I don't just want the lesson, but I also want you to give us the moment. Take me to the decision, the habit, or the turning point that changed your life. So, what are you going through? What were you going through? And how can what you learned help other women? So, what do you have for good medicine? What are you prescribing?
Good medicine. Don't abandon yourself for the sake of other people or what they'll think or anybody. Um, During the time where I had to take that advice of not abandoning myself, I had to leave a marriage that was very abusive to me, with two small children, and it was very difficult. I don't mind being honest or being transparent here because I do know that the church plays a huge part in some people wanting to remain in marriages that aren't safe for them. And so I took the courage to leave. And in my life, when I stopped abandoning myself, trying to stay true to what everyone was going to think of me for leaving, my life began to flourish. And I always, always laid it at the altar, every decision that I make. So make sure that you don't abandon yourself for the sake of other people. Your peace is important.
That's really, really good. And I wanna put a pin in something you said. A lot of people stay in abusive relationships because of the perspective of the church. But you said that you left
Hmm.
and you always took everything to the altar.
Yeah.
That's so important because our relationship with God is personal.
Yeah.
You you have to take your stuff,
Hmm.
right? And yes, we can seek counsel, right? Better if we seek wise counsel. But I think it's so important that you said, I always took it to the altar. And I think that's the sign. I know that's a sign of not abandoning yourself.
Hmm.
Me not abandoning myself meant I took my thing to the altar and I did what I knew what was best for me after I took it to the altar. That,
Yes.
Labria, that is so good. So, what impact do you hope your work leaves on women in the community? When your name comes up in a room that you are not in, what do you want them to say you built? What do you want them to say that you stood for?
Mm. I want the women who I encounter within my practice. If I wasn't in the room, I would want them to say, Labria provided a very soft and compassionate place for me to land my plane. You don't understand how many times there was a time where I've had a client for maybe 2 to 3 months, and she just got to the point where she felt comfortable to share something because she was trying to see if the space was safe enough. And what she shared was so sacred, and that's what I'm saying. I want the women to feel like they can let their guard down within my counseling sessions with them, because in the world they don't have that space. And I'm very honored to be that person for some of the women that I work with.
That's good. That's good. I'm so glad that you are an oak and anchor for
Oh,
people in your community. You are
yeah.
so, the work you're doing is so necessary and so needed. So, man, continually praying that God will continue to equip
Yeah.
and give you the vision and the provision for
Yeah.
everything that you're doing. All right, last one before we close it out. What's a food from your childhood that still hits different?
Like in a good way? Like
Uh,
it's still good.
yeah, in a good way.
I love me some Rotel. I love me some nachos and some Rotel with the Doritos, and make sure we put some
Okay,
picante sauce on them. I also still love me a Earl Campbell hot link on flat white bread. Yeah, that's still my stuff
listen,
too. Yeah.
uh, people don't know nothing about a good hot link on white.
Okay. They don't. They
People that
don't
they
even
ain't got
know.
bougie. People that got bougie, they don't know nothing about you got to get it how you live. They don't know nothing about that.
Yeah.
Summertime, that's the greatest like summertime lunch in the world. All right, now it's time for you didn't ask. All right, so this is where we give people advice they didn't ask for, but they need to hear.
Mhm.
So say something that women need to hear, even if it's uncomfortable, something they might not want to face, but absolutely need to. What do you have for you didn't ask?
Mm, what do I have? Hmm. Very little grows in comfort. So if you don't want to do it, but you keep thinking about it, you might just need to do it. Get out of your comfort zone because very little grows there.
You heard her. Nothing is growing in your comfort zone. Now,
Mhm.
I used to tell my players this when I was coaching, my players and my students when I would challenge them. I'm not going to push you from your comfort zone to the twilight zone.
Mhm.
There's a zone in between there, and it's called the growth zone. And that's where things grow. Listen, Labrea, this has been so good. Everybody, before you dip out, I need you to hit like, subscribe, smash that bell so you never miss an episode. If you are listening on Apple Podcasts, we need that 5-star rating. Give us a quick review. It helps us to grow the network community. Follow us on IG at the_network_podcast. Make sure that you check the show notes on YouTube and wherever you're listening for the good medicine, the advice you didn't ask for, but we gave it to you anyway. Don't sleep on Oak and Anchor Resilience Center. If
Mhm.
you or someone you love needs a safe space to do the work, find Labrea on Instagram and TikTok. Let me put this back up on the screen at the telecounselor. Listen, everybody, this is the network, the spot for elevating mind, body, spirit, and finances as we navigate this thing called life. Subscribe to the network. You never know. You might need it. I'm Michael Prejean for Labrea Law. Until next time, I need you to do one thing and one thing only, and that's make love the culture. We'll see y'all soon.